Well, it's finished and I'm very pleased with it. This is my slide, my milling slide, and it's a bit tight, as all newly made things should be. You can see it there. And there's the, the handles. And now I have a left-hand thread lead screw, which means that when you twist it clockwise, it goes forward, it goes away from you, the same as the lathe and all that should. And that's the intuitive thing, and that's how it works. So this is it here anyway, nice and tight, and that's it all put together. And there's a hole through the slide here, and that goes through to the back, and that goes into this device that I made. Now, this is one of the holders. This one here goes into the tool post. I use this a good deal to make my steam engine and that, but I haven't used it that much since lately. Now you put that in there, you tighten down your screws. I'll only give them a nominal tighten for now. You tighten down your screws, and you can adjust that, you see, whatever way you want. But again, for light applications only. Now, you stop for a minute. So now you can see it's set up, and I'm in trouble here because no matter what way I touch, if I touch the screen, all's gone. So you can twist it, see there, and then through a central bolt. Well, then there's here at the back, you can't see it too well. I'll try and move the light. You see there the way it's made. That flange, and it's graduated. You can put a bolt. There's a series of holes in the back, and you can put a bolt there. And so you can stabilize it any angle you want. You can have it at any angle. And you can turn the top slide as well. You can turn everything. This can turn. And the main top slide can turn here. And you can turn it very many ways. And it works quite good, particularly for drilling and milling. If you want to drill at an angle, or you want to use a milling cutter like this. So here you have a milling cutter in the chuck, which isn't best practice, but it lets you out. You can put it in a collet as well, but it's just to show you the principle. So you can bring your adjustable slide up, have your material bolted to it, and use the mill for light applications. You can go up, down, you see. I'll just tighten it a bit here. You can up and down here, you see that? And that lets you slide it up and down any way you want. And then you can twist it as I've shown you. You can turn this, and you can also turn this, and you can move this one. So you have the cross slide, the up and down, the changing of the angles, here. The only thing you cannot do is turn it turn it sideways like this. You cannot do this, you know. You cannot do this. But that's rarely wanted. It's rarely that you need to do both. If you want to cut, you can turn your slide, you see. You can turn your milling slide down, up or down, whatever way you want. Do you see? So that's the versatility of this equipment. It's very limited in range, but for a lot of the things I'd be doing, it's good enough. It's good enough when you're not doing it every day, and it is as rigid as a milling machine when right. Now I'll just stop and show you then. So this is the one I use most, and by the way, it's the 11th of July 2024. This one here, you see I can bolt it into it, and it can swivel a little bit too. Now this here is bolted directly onto the cross slide, so it has no swiveling. But for an awful lot of work, particularly drilling, like a cylinder head off a model engine or something, you need it perfectly square to the chuck. You bring it up to the chuck, you get it perfectly square, and you can drill and all of that on this one here. Now I'm just talking now here about this one. You see this one here? I'll point to it here with a drill bit. This one here will do the same. It's more versatile. This is more rigid. So if you're using quite a big milling cutter or slot drill, you might use this one more rigidly. Okay. So again, just in case you're not too sure what I'm talking about, use the spanner. And this is the normal one bolted to the top slide. And this here is on the tool post. But you have a lot of junctions, but still all right for small work. And you can then adjust it up and down with the 14x3 lead screw there, and that's all right. Now it's, as I said, it's a steel nut. It should probably be bronze, but I'll keep it well lubricated with a bit of goose grease, and that should be no problem. So it gives you a lot of versatility, and it turns your lathe into an effective mini mill, and a more versatile miller than most millers. So now I'll stop for a second and show you another item. So the back of the slide has all these holes which correspond with this, you see, and also correspond with the other one I showed you, the one standing up solidly. So you can have all these adjustments. This is all handmade, all made out of black mild steel and bright mild steel, all produced by the mostly welding sometimes, and then sometimes welding reinforced by bolts, usually countersunk Allen bolts, 8mm. Now here's the top side of the lathe, and it just runs. There's a lead screw in there, as you can see. You just can see it there, a lead screw. And it drives the top slide over and back. Excuse me now. Remember, I've only one hand. But since this is a slide, the problem with this and the limitation for this is you can't bolt anything to it. So I drilled 2 holes over there, one there, and tapped them 8mm. And this is the downside of the slide I made. You see the boss on it there to fit in here, and the holes for it, and then the 2 holes over here to fit into these holes in the top. So this is a top slide similar to what's on the Myford Super 7 model engineering lathe. Now you see it's dirty looking, but in fact that's a rust prohibiting special oil or grease. It's expensive stuff. So when you put it on, you just leave it on, and if you're going to use the slide, you just clean it off. But you can't leave the slide alone, especially if it's made of mild steel, because it will rust. It's not like cast iron. This is not cast iron. This is mild steel. Now I cut those grooves. You see the way they're done there? I cut those with a Woodruff milling cutter. If you want to look up a Woodruff milling cutter, and there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 slots, and they're about 5 inches across in length. Now, I still wonder how I managed to do such precise work. I was very enthusiastic, but as you can see it there, you can fit in bolt heads in there, special bolts, and it means that you can do any work, including you can put down work on this, something on this, and you can put a shaft in the chuck, or between centres. You can put it running between centres here on the tailstock, you see. Well, you can have a milling cutter. Now you could have a milling cutter like this one here, and you can mount it then on a shaft, you see, and you can mill material bolted onto this top. Now if this milling cutter or had a flat edge on it, you could use it as a planer. You could use it as a horizontal mill to produce a perfectly flat surface using a cutter, something similar to this. There are all kinds of ones, and I don't just see any here handy, but you can cut, or if you wanted to cut a V with that there, you could cut the V out straight across. By having this going round, you could cut the V across on the piece of steel. Now also, you have this here. This is an adjuster here. You can clamp your work there on that, and this adjusts it, you see? And you can, when you take cut across, or when you take a slice off it, you can then twist this a little and it winds it up. You see the way it's made there? And it adjusts it up. Now, most of this stuff was all bought at the variety markets. People cleaning out workshops and people who passed away and maybe give up and all that, and schools and all of that. But so there now you see that you have this thing, and you can put your lid on. Sorry. And you can see, you can turn away there. See, that's all. Oh, sorry, that's all moving. So you watch the spot. Moving away. You see? You leave this here. And then you can reverse it and move it towards you, and to do milling on top. So all of this, that's all handmade. All of that there, that's all made by me. That's not made by me. But you don't make cutters and things unless you have to. I have a principle: if you can buy it and it's not very expensive, it's the simplest thing for a farmer particularly. You need a bit of time. So this bolts on, just to show you, this bolts on here with the two bolts, the same as the top side, and it bolts on here. Now, you could technically move it a bit, but it's not designed to be moved. It's meant to be a top table, and you bolt your material to it. So it's, again, it is a mini milling machine and a lathe as well. It's not the only one that has this idea. You can get milling heads that attach separately, but I have that one of them in mind. But for now, you have the spindle, you have the speed, you have the power in the main motor, and by adopting that, and maybe by turning a piece of mild steel bar and affixing this fella to it here, you can mill away on that for a short distance. Now, the distance you can go is about comfortably about 6 inches at best, 5 inches at best. 5 inches at best. But the great thing about that slide as well is you can put your stuff over here. So you're using, this is the best. If you machine over here at this setting for a bit, you'll have very powerful strength because you have the engagement of the top slide with the dovetail in it. And you see, as I showed you earlier, the dovetail there, that's how it works in lathes, and you can see it there. That's how they work. And here's the very same screw that's in the, you see it there in the, you see the screw here. I'm going to point to it here with this spanner. Do you see it there? That's the very same jib principle as the one I made for the top slide. For now anyway, that's near enough. If you're into this stuff, like, you're never idle. As long as you have your eyesight and able to stand up, you'll always be making something. And even though I probably, to be honest, I only used that top part there, that slotted thing, about twice. But it will be put to use. And unbelievably versatile bit of kit. Anyway, folks, that's it. Comment underneath. I know it's not for everybody, and I'm not meant to be showing off or anything like that, but this is the sort of stuff I get off when I have time on me hands. So good luck. I think I've covered everything, and I got cut off a few times. I hope you won't mind. We'll see you back. Good luck. Thank you.